A man is fighting for his life tonight after being shot outside of a business on Mount Herman Road. What Raleigh police are telling us about the investigation.
Rain is on the way. I'm tracking the cold front heading toward us. That'll bring showers and a big cool down just in time for Thanksgiving.
2 road rage investigations in Wake County, but only 1 arrest. Coming up, why the district attorney says sometimes these cases can take some time to process.
Then, Apple deal delayed. State officials agree to push back incentive deadlines for the tech giant, what that could mean for the future of its RTP campus. Check out this front moving into our area tonight. A chance of showers overnight and into tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ashley Rowe.
And I'm Dan Haggerty. So it's going to be a wet start to your Wednesday. And this same system, the same weather maker, could be bringing some rain tonight and colder temperatures on Thanksgiving. Kat, we could see 20s by Friday.
Yes, it is really going to get cold. Tomorrow, we're near record highs, 74 degrees. And then boom, in just 16 hours, temperatures drop about 35 degrees. We'll wake up to temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s Thanksgiving morning. Quite the change coming as this Arctic air pushes in. It'll make it all the way south into Atlanta. We stay on the cold side of the jet stream through Thanksgiving weekend. But there is some rain that we're watching out for first. Just a couple of sprinkles out there tonight. The better chance for rain will come when the cold front actually moves through here overnight. Some showers in Mecklenburg County, Virginia. That's about it right now. As we move ahead, midnight looks pretty quiet for us. And it's really as we get closer to the overnight hours that we would probably have the better chance for some of those showers to swing through and into the morning commute tomorrow. Some scattered light rain possible for the morning. Otherwise, it looks like a nice day. The rain clears out by lunchtime and into the evening hours. That's when the cold air arrives. Thanksgiving Day, luckily, though, looking nice and dry, a high of 52. And I'll have a closer look at that coming up.
Okay, Kath, thank you. We do want to get you to some breaking news right now in Raleigh. Police telling us a man was shot in the Briar Creek area. This is on Mount Herman Road. WRAL's Willie Danley. You see him there live for us tonight. Willie, police telling us in the last 30 minutes or so the victim has life-threatening injuries.
It's very true, Dan. Police are not sharing much information other than the fact that the victim has life-threatening injuries. But we do know where this took place. Right behind me, this is the parking lot of Onward Safety Solutions off of Mount Herman Road in Raleigh. You can see this crime scene tape lining the entire parking lot. Right there, up against the front door of that building, there are some evidence markers along with some personal items, assuming to be the person who was shot here. We have reached out to Raleigh police to learn more information about that individual and to find out if he is an employee at this business. They were not able to share much more information about this investigation or if they have any person or persons of interest at this time. This is a very large crime scene and it has been active for a couple of hours now. We're going to continue to remain out here, keeping you up to date with what we know. Back to you.
Okay, Willie. New today, a man was arrested in connection with a suspected road rage shooting that killed a man driving to work. Deputies say Ruben Santiago opened fire on Highway 64 near Lizard Lick Road, killing Derek Godwin. Santiago is now charged with murder. And, you know, this is one of several road rage investigations going on in our area. WRAL's Heidi Kirk joins us now live from the Wake County Justice Center. Heidi, you spoke with the Wake County DA about those cases and why they can take time to process.
Well, Ashley, we spoke with DA Lauren Freeman just within the last few hours or so, and she says she's actually seen an increase in these types of events over the last few years. Now, that makes sense because just within the last few days, there have been 2 shootings in Wake County traffic just days apart. Extremely jarring situation playing out here. Now, go ahead and take a look at this video on your screens. We captured this just hours ago. This is the moment 24-year-old Ruben Santiago was charged in the deadly shooting on US 64. Now, the Wake County Sheriff's Office says they've identified a suspect in that second shooting on Nightdale Boulevard, but no charges have been filed yet. Now, we asked the DA specifically, why does it take some time to charge a suspect? Now, she says it often takes time to investigate the circumstances surrounding this incident.
Part of what we're doing is trying to identify, who are other motorists who are on the roadway, setting up opportunities to talk to them. Often, if you think about, people who may be on a highway, for example, may not all be local to the jurisdiction, and so, trying to identify these people, trying to reach out to them, interview them.
Now, here's something else that I found interesting. The DA did tell us that when a suspect is identified and then charges aren't brought against them till days later, often law enforcement do have eyes on them. Find that to be an interesting tidbit there. Something else that I checked in with the Wake County Sheriff's Office about is the status of charges in that second shooting. They said just within the hour that still none have been filed. We'll keep asking those questions. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Wake County.
Grace Holland here in the WRAL Live Center. Wake County Schools selected a new school board member to fill a vacancy. You're looking at Jennifer Jobe here. She will represent District 8. She was one of 14 candidates that interviewed in front of school board leaders earlier today, and she got the position, winning the vote there in just one round. And again, District 8 is where she will represent. That includes Apex.
Interstate 295 is transforming how people travel. That is your quote of the day. It's coming from Ralph Huff, the man representing Highway Division 6 on the North Carolina Board of Transportation. He is, of course, talking about I-295, the Fayetteville Loop. The last section of that project opened today. A couple hundred people showing up to cut the ribbon there and celebrate it. NCDOT and the Fayetteville area have been working on this project for 40 years. 40 years. With a timeline like that, you might wonder, is this really going to transform how people travel? Weren't we at like horse and buggy when they started? But yes, it will. You see, for years, the military did not have a highway with direct access to I-95. And ever since the state announced a plan to change that, the 295 project, WRAL has been covering the story.
Because this will give direct access, of course, across the river to Interstate 95. It should relieve traffic congestion on Grove Street and Rowan Street with traffic that will be able to cut through north of the urban area.
Currently, we have to move all of that equipment through local streets and neighborhoods to get to the highway.
That was recorded with film. Planning began in the 1980s, but construction started in 1999. This is video from 2002, 1 year before the first section of 295 opened. It connected Ramsey Street to River Road. 2 years later, the loop was connected to I-95, but only in one direction. It wasn't until 2016 that DOT workers built those eastbound lanes. That phase of the project also connected the loop to Bragg Boulevard. This was a key factor for military posts, for deployment, and for national security. 9 years later, and the full loop is complete, all 39 miles. And this got us thinking about the other big loop in our lives, the one in Wake County. I-540 has been under construction for 30 years, and there are some really interesting reasons why it has taken so long. Well, the very first 4-mile section opened in 1997. The loop connected to the 64 bypass 10 years later in 2007. In between 2011 and 2012, 3 phases of the road's toll section opened, known as NC 540. This section is different because North Carolina did have to borrow money for this project, and the tolls are going to pay for that over time. But perhaps the most interesting part of the 540 project was when it was delayed because of shellfish. The section connecting Holly Springs to I-40 South in Garner was also the habitat of the dwarf wedge mussel, which is an endangered species. And this is it. This is the dwarf wedge mussel. Environmental groups, they were really worried about these little guys, and the 540 project was delayed because of it until 2019. After a court battle, the state agreed to help breed those mussels. So yes, the state is breeding those mussels so that we can have roads. The final 10 miles are currently under construction now. In a few years, when 540 is finished and they cut that ribbon and the officials stand up there and say something like, this will transform how people travel, you might ask the question again, is that true? Was this all worth it? Well, you can just ask people who WRAL interviewed the last time a new section of that loop opened up.
I've used it every day. Makes things quicker. I get to places a lot quicker.
It cuts off 15 minutes time for me to go to I-40.
I live about 1.5 miles from the closest interchange. I had to go through one traffic light this morning. So yeah, it was great. Love it.
I go to the airport and pick up family when they come into town, and it's going to be a straight shot.
Nothing like a straight shot.
How do you think that the population of the wedge mussel is doing right now?
They got to be doing great.
Are they thriving?
I would think so.
I think that's a follow-up story for us.
I agree. I-540 expected to be completed in 2028.
Hey, there's a whole lot of change on the way for our area, including some big developments at RTP. Pretty soon, it won't just be an office park. Restaurants, apartments, and retail can now share that space too. We're going to walk you through the plan already on the table.
Also, Apple wants to come to RTP, but the move-in date may be a little further away than we first thought. Why the state is letting them push back their deadline. Kat?
And the cold snap arrives on Thanksgiving Day, but it's going to get a lot colder than this. I'll walk you through some of the coldest hours this weekend coming up.
Our area is always growing, and here at 7 o'clock, we like to talk about all those new developments. It's time for a developing story. And tonight we actually have two developing stories, both, in fact, out of Research Triangle Park.
So Apple, we should say, is delaying its plan to bring those hundreds of jobs to North Carolina. And we're talking about a change to RTP's zoning, and that means a change for the area's entire identity. So let's start there, because the R in RTP is all about, well, you know, what it stands for, and that might change. It's going to stand for more than research. We're talking about residential, recreation, and restaurants.
Yeah, 7,000 acres. This is a huge plot of land, and no longer just a place to work, but also a place to live and play. WRAL's Monica Casey has that part of the story.
55,000 people work here every day, but after 5 o'clock, it gets quiet. This new zoning could change that. RTP 3.0 is a go. More of Research Triangle Park could look like this. Hub RTP is the area's first mixed-use development, and under new zoning, more could be coming.
How do we put RTP on the competitive plane with some of the leading innovation districts and business parks globally?
Research Triangle Foundation VP of Policy and Planning Travis Creighton explains this zoning change has been in the works since 2021.
Why does it take so long to get this rezoning going?
There's a lot of stakeholder engagement and bringing a lot of folks together to develop a shared vision. So that just takes time to have those conversations, to understand those perspectives.
Durham County Commissioners unanimously approved the creation of the new zoning designation, saying it's what residents want.
I'm really excited to see how it transformed, and this is just a great thing for Durham County.
We're going to be resilient, we're going to be innovative, we're going to pivot towards a new future in RTP.
Creighton echoes the idea that a place to live, work, and play will attract both employers and employees.
We saw a clear trend over the past 25 years for much more urban, dense, mixed-use environments. That's what you're seeing in demand from both a talent perspective and a company perspective in terms of where they want to locate.
In RTP, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Thank you to Monica. So let's turn now to the other developing story out of RTP. Apple is delaying its plan to bring those hundreds of jobs. This is the area here, a whole bunch of trees, whole bunch of woods, and it's still set to be their new campus, but it might be a few more years before any of that starts to come to fruition.
Yeah, Apple is actually one of 3 companies that told the state they won't be meeting their deadlines on their deals. But interestingly, only Apple got to push that deadline back. So to find out why and to find out what's next for the project, I spoke to WRAL State Government Editor Jack Hagel. Jack, appreciate you giving us some insights here. Apple did not meet its goals, so why is the state extending its deadline?
Well, the state's been reviewing Apple for the past year or so, and they've been talking with executives, and they feel comfortable that the company still plans on meeting its goals. They also built these deals in such a way that if they don't meet their goals, they're not going to get paid. So the state feels comfortable that way.
So 2 other companies did not meet their goals. The state ends their contract with them. What are these 2 companies?
Well, Marshall USA is one of the companies. They maintain aircraft. They're out in Guilford County, and they operate in the state, but they weren't able to hit their goals. And then Corning, which had planned manufacturing and warehouse jobs out in Edgecombe and Durham County, same thing. They just weren't able to hit their hiring targets. And so they said to the state, look, we're not going to be able to make these goals, so let's just end this deal as it is.
So 2 companies that did not meet their goals, they ended their contract with the state. Why didn't they get the Apple treatment?
Well, actually, in September, the state passed a law that really protects these companies that are doing what they call transformative deals, the biggest deals with the most jobs, the biggest investment. And Apple's one of those companies. The state wants to make sure that they succeed. And again, these deals are drawn up in such a way that if the company doesn't make good, the state can cut ties.
Should we have confidence that Apple is going to ultimately meet its goals?
The state knows that these deals are done over a long period of time. And I think they're smart enough to know that that's going to mean up cycles, down cycles, boom and bust, mergers, changes in strategy. Again, these things are designed in such a way that they take those into account. So if the company says they're going to create 1,000 jobs and they only create 500 jobs, the company says, okay, well, we'll pay you out maybe half of those incentives, and that's that. So they're comfortable with the way they're structured, and they know that things can change, and so they're agile and they're able to adjust and adapt.
And they know how to hedge. All right. Jack, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Good stuff. Let's get to this holiday forecast. Kat Campbell joining us now with a look at how things are going to go, and pretty nice, if you ask me.
Not bad. I mean, it's cool, but when you think of Thanksgiving, you don't really think of shorts and t-shirt weather. It can happen, but it's nice that we're back to sweater weather. 52 for the high here locally, 55 in Fayetteville. If you're going to be headed east to the coast, 61 in Wilmington, and cold in the North Carolina mountains. 36 is the high in Butte. The cold air comes rushing in just in time for Thanksgiving Day. Tomorrow, it's going to be warm. It's going to be nice, other than a little bit of rain in the morning. But the cold snap is really going to be a snap for us. This cold air starts to move in on Thanksgiving, and it only gets colder from there. These are the low temperatures. Tomorrow, when you wake up, about 60 degrees outside. Not bad at all. Just a little bit of rain in the morning possible. Then we drop down to 40 for the low Thanksgiving morning. 30 Friday morning, 24. Yes, you were reading that number right. We lowered the low Saturday. Sunday, 33 for the low. It's really going to be feeling more like winter around here pretty soon. And Thanksgiving Day is a nice middle ground for us. It's a lot colder than the 74-degree high we have tomorrow, but it is a nice day. It'll be mostly sunny by the time most folks eat their Thanksgiving meal, and mild with temperatures in the lower 50s. Now Saturday, we've got some big football games in the area. Duke and Wake Forest. Dry for that. 3:30 kickoff, 46 degrees, and then 7:30 kickoff for NC State UNC at Carter Finley. 37 is the temperature for kickoff. Toward the end of the game, it could be closer to 32. So make sure that you are really bundling up, especially if you're going to be headed out to that game. But even the Duke game is going to be pretty chilly. Our next weather maker brings the chance for rain tonight. We'll have the chance, especially during the overnight hours, but there could be a little bit of rain that sticks around tomorrow morning as well. In Durham, a live look out at the Festival of Lights. It's a nice night out there right now. Just a small chance for rain for the next couple of hours, and that chance will go up overnight. As for rain chances, just a chance for impacts to Thanksgiving travel early tomorrow morning. Even then, we're not in the red. It's not going to be a very heavy rain for us for the most part. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all looking good. And Sunday is looking even better now, with the rain perhaps holding off until Sunday night. Good news for folks trying to make it home. 74 tomorrow. I've got to be honest with you, we may even jump higher than that number. Our southwest wind really helping to warm things up before that final push of cold air gets here tomorrow night. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all chilly. Just 45 for the high on Black Friday. If you're waking up and doing some early morning shopping that day, wind chills could be in the mid-20s. Next week is trending wetter, so we'll keep an eye on that for next week's holiday events.
I like waking up for Black Friday. I missed that. Everything's online now. All right, Kat, thank you.
Hey, what's your biggest Christmas wish this year? Well, a child from Apex wanted to meet Santa, the real Santa. And this week he's going to meet him at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. But he says this wish is not just about presents. We're going to let him explain in tonight's One Last Thing.
One last thing, and it's a good one. A 9-year-old in Apex, a student there, heading to New York City this week for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. It was his biggest wish, to meet Santa Claus at the parade.
Andrew was born with a cleft lip and cleft palate, known as a craniofacial difference. He had a wish to meet the real Santa at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and the Magical Moments Foundation is making that wish come true. But Andrew told us this wish isn't just about sharing his Christmas list with the big guy.
I wanted to tell him that I hope all other craniofacial difference kids have a Merry Christmas.
I'm so excited for Andrew's wish to come true, but what the moment really means for me is my wish for my child is that he's grown through his facial difference to be strong in who he is and not shy away from having his cleft palate and his cleft lip, and just be an example in the craniofacial community for others that it's okay to be different and to still be really proud of who he is.
I hope people think like, wow, this kid really believed in himself and his wish came true. So I think I should believe in myself and good things will come to me in life.
Oh my goodness, what a cutie. What a
Oh yeah.
Oh, way to go,
He's
big
got
man.
it. Yep.
Yes, you figured it out. The Magical Moments Foundation works with lots of families and their children facing craniofacial differences, giving them life-changing trips and experiences. Andrew and his family leave for New York this week. We told him to tell us about it when he gets back. We want to get the rundown, hear how it goes.
And also put in a good word with Santa for us, okay? Hey, really quick, a bit of housekeeping. No 7 p.m. news for the rest of the week. I know, we're going to miss you. Tomorrow, the Canes game will air on WRAL at 7 o'clock. It's hockey for the holidays. The Canes versus the Rangers.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving. I mean, you better be watching the rest of our newscasts too, but for our 7 o'clock people,
exactly.
Have a great Thanksgiving and a wonderful holiday. We will see you here at 7 o'clock next week. In the meantime, we have more local news coming up tonight, 10 o'clock on Fox 50, and back here on WRAL at 11. Have a good one.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.